A warm welcome back, everybody, to the Celtic Forever podcast. Got John here to go over Celtic rumours, Celtic news, everything else that's been going on. If you can hit that subscribe button, that would be appreciated. And thank you to everybody that has subscribed to the channel in the recent weeks and our current subscribers. We appreciate that. So if you can hit that subscribe button, that would be appreciated. Hit the like button, hit the share button as well, just to help out the channel just now, because we need as many subscribers as possible. All right, let's say hello to John. How you doing, John?
I'm all right. How are you, Zander?
I'm okay, John. Obviously, Scotland have played again since we last spoke, but we're going to go through Scotland a wee bit later on in the podcast, John, because there's a wee bit of Celtic stuff to go through first. What I'm going to do is going to go through this. We're going to be pillar to post here, folks, because no particular order, right? So we'll just go through bit by bit, and we might be jumping pillar to post. So let's go through it, John, right away. All right. West Ham, Ipswich and Fulham interested in Carter Vickers. This is one that I hope doesn't happen, to be honest with you. We want Vickers to stay. Outstanding centre-back for Celtic, has been for about 3 years now. But the only way we're going to keep the interest away for Carter Vickers, I would say, is to put a big price tag on Vickers' head. That should keep the suitors away, John. But West Ham, maybe they're a Premier League team, 20, 30 million price tag. They'll not be scared of that, will they?
No, it's nothing to a team like West Ham. Can't believe I'm saying that. West Ham, know what I mean? But wasn't it for Sky? All these clubs with, I don't know. Never mind. Anyway, Carter Vickers, we want to keep all our best players. Carter Vickers right up there with our best players, if not possibly even our best player. So, big price tag on his head, and don't know, Celtic and days offer Vickers an increase in his wages as well. Maybe I don't know. It just depends how much he loves it at Celtic, doesn't it? I mean, it's not all about wages for some players. Look at Callum McGregor, spent his whole career at Celtic, great player. So for some players, it isn't all about wages. It's about your love for the club and getting regular game time, which I don't think Carter Vickers will be guaranteed if he goes down south.
Yeah. I hope you're right, John. I hope it is about the love for the club, because we need big Vickers in there. Solid defender, zero winner as well, of course. Okay, moving on, John. We'll just rattle through these. We mentioned Dubravka from Newcastle on last week's podcast. There's no a price tag attached to his head, and it's £3 million for Dubravka for Newcastle, John. So just a wee quick mention on him. The $3 million, that's the sort of price tag Celtic we'll be looking at.
Aye, or less if possible, but that's kind of Celtic's range in it. 3 million between 2.5 and 4 million, that kind of price. That's Celtic's kind of range. So that sounds about right for Celtic, but I've still not seen the keeper. I don't know anything about him, Zander.
Yeah, that's right, John. And we'll move on to the goalkeepers. We'll stick with that just now, John, because the latest, interest from Celtic, if you like, is Livakovic from Fenerbahce, John, goalkeeper. I know you know much about him. 6'2" goalkeeper. Livakovic, £7 million fee. Celtic apparently, according to the Daily Rangers, I only saw this online, John. I didn't buy the newspaper, but according to them, Celtic are really interested in this boy. £7 million, John. What do you think of that, Fenerbahce? Livakovic?
Don't think much of it. I don't know the guy again. No, I know that good way keeping up with rumours and all that stuff, as you know, but again, Zander, it's just something I'll need to see, have a look at him and see what he's like. Barkas came with a big reputation, didn't he? And what a flop he was. So, I don't know, I'd need to watch keepers closely. And, I like to keep an eye on stuff in our own country. That's what I know.
Yeah.
But, no, keepers that I don't know anything about, Zander, I can't give you a comment on it. Just £7 million seems a bit high for Celtic anyway, if you ask me.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it, John? Obviously, we're just dealing with rumour here. This is even newspaper rumour, isn't it? So everything is just rumour. Nothing concrete over the line for Celtic. Second week into the transfer window, nothing concrete for Celtic. So we'll move on, John. And lastly, with the goalkeeper one, and obviously you've not heard of this guy either. So we're well aware of that. 6'4" goalkeeper, Mark Travers from Bournemouth, £10 million price tag slapped on him. Linked to Celtic and a couple of other clubs, but that £10 million price tag, yet again, John, Celtic will walk away for that.
Aye, it's not worth talking about when you hear prices like 10 million. Is it? It's not going to happen, Zander. Celtic's not going to pay £10 million for a goalkeeper. There's no way on earth that's going to happen. I hope I'm proved wrong right enough when we do get a top quality goalkeeper in, but Celtic we're talking about here. I mean, transfers are nothing's happening at all, is it? Absolutely nothing. I just hope Celtic are just biding their time to get the correct players in to do the job that's required at Celtic. But £10 million for a goalkeeper, it's not going to happen, Zander.
Okay, fair enough, John. Well said. We'll move on. Next one on the list I've got here, Matt O'Reilly. Celtic have slapped him £40 million euro. Price tag on our Matt O'Reilly, player of the season, zero winner again. I worked that out to be roughly about £34 million, John. So Celtic will put a high price tag on Matt to hopefully keep him at the club.
It all depends on the player as well, though. You know, it's not just about the price, it's about the player as well. Does the player want to leave Celtic? Does he want to stay at Celtic? They don't want to slap a £34 million price tag on a player and the player doesn't want to stay. You're not going to get the best out of that player, Zander, but I think £25-30 million are a really, really good bit of business by Celtic if they get that from Zander. So if they get that from him, I was going to say it goes towards bringing in another good quality player, but Celtic's not going to spend that money, are they? We know what they're like. So it's going to be looking for a wee golden gem. Not a golden gem, a golden nugget. But like Matt O'Reilly, Matt O'Reilly was brought in for peanuts. And that's what Celtic will be looking to do again this season, I think.
Yeah, that's it, John. That's it. Yeah, totally agree. We can only wait and see what happens during the summer. With Matt, obviously we all want him to stay, but if you're getting, the likes of £34 million, it's good money. But Celtic aren't well known for splashing the cash on replacements, are they? So we'll watch the space with that one. All right, John, this one, it never seems to be going away. Adam Idah, this is going to rumble on all through the summer, isn't it? Waiting game for Adam Idah. Norwich manager Thorup, he's wanting to have a look at him first before he makes any decision. So how can I have a look at him if he's not playing any football? That's the way I look at it. But this is going to rumble on during the summer, isn't it, John? Adam Idah?
Aye, that's always the case with Celtic when they're interested in a player. It does tend to rumble on all through the transfer window. And the Adam Idah situations ain't going to be any different. So obviously the new manager coming in at Norwich, I thought that anyway, with a new manager coming in, he's not just going to let him go without looking at him first. So I kind of suspected that would happen. The guy's not just going to come in and say, right, you go, because Celtic are interested in you. Let me have a look at you myself first. I'll decide if you're good enough for Norwich. And that's exactly what I thought was going to happen, and that is what's happened, Zander.
Yeah, okay. All right, John. We just need to watch our space for Adam Idah. Okay, John, so moving on. Just a wee quick mention of the Facebook page. There's lots of extra video over there on the Facebook page. Zander John Facebook page or the Celtic Forever podcast Facebook page. Either one, you'll get the same content. Just join John and myself over on the Facebook page. All right, here we go. Moving on. Genk have increased their offer for O. John, they've increased their offer, so it looks as though Genk are really interested in our centre forward O, 24-year-old. John, we had a commenter on the last week's video. Eugene Yus, his name was, Celtic supporter apparently, Eugene Yus, saying that we're being too rough on O, wanting rid of him or wanting rid of our players, etc., etc. Load of nonsense, John. I think every Celtic supporter would be happy to see the £5 million that we were going to get for O from Genk. £5 million, John, that would be some offer for some price if we got that for O.
It certainly would. I've seen that comment. The guy thinks being too harsh on O. Look, I know he's a young player and all that, but the evidence is there for all to see. The sitters that he's missed. So, going by what I've seen of O so far, of course he is still young. He might have more to prove, but to me, I don't know what Genk actually seeing him, but good luck to O if he goes to Genk. Because me and thousands of other Celtic fans would just be glad to see the back of the guy. Just no Celtic quality at all, far from it.
Yeah, John, this Eugenius saying that O has got potential. You don't got potential at 24, John. You're going to do what you're going to do when you get to that age. That's when you're reaching your peak at 24. So If you get £4.5 to £5 million for O from Genk, and obviously Brendan wants shot at the player as well, John. That's Celtic manager wants shot at the player himself, so that tells you everything you need to know, doesn't it?
Aye, well, look, it's clear for all to see. The guy's just no got it. I didn't think he was as old as 24, but there you go. I wasn't sure about age O was, but 24 is he, aye?
Yeah, John, I think he's 24 next month. So, yeah, he's 24. So, potential days are gone when you're 24. So, anyway, we'll watch our space with that one in the summer. It's just another rumour, I suppose, but there has been a concrete offer from Genk, so we'll watch our space with O. All right, moving on, John. Edouard, we spoke about Edouard in the last podcast as well, didn't we? Crystal Palace have slapped a £20 million price tag on Odsonne Edouard, John. So Celtic are not going to go anywhere near that, obviously. But it's a player both you and I and others in the comments didn't want to see back at Celtic.
No, I certainly don't want to see him back at Celtic. I was looking at Edouard's stats today since he joined Crystal Palace. 18 goals in 3 years. It's not very good, is it?
No, John, it's poor. As I said, he never done much when he went down to Crystal Palace. He never done anything really, didn't he? I think his first couple of games he was okay, and then he just fell away. So it's a no for me again. Anyway, £20 million price tag. I don't know where to get that for, John. 20 million.
For a player that scored 18 goals in 3 years, no, 20 million is just laughable, isn't it? It's you're talking a player like that, you're talking 2 million, aren't you? At maximum, I would say £2 million for a player that scores 18 goals in 3 years. That's not a great return.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's maybe a wee bit more than that, John, to be fair. But they only paid 15 million for Edouard from Celtic, and they want 20 million, and they only paid 15 for him. Just doesn't add up to me, that.
Well, he scored 18 goals in total in 3 seasons. That's
Yeah.
Even if you want to talk about 9, 18, whatever, 40, even if it's 50 goals in 3 seasons, I suppose for a Premiership team that's considered kind of average, really. 50 in 3 seasons. Average is about, I don't know how many, 16 goals a season. That's if he scores 50, but this guy's only scored 18 in 3 seasons. Doesn't he who's a top quality striker, does it? It's very, very poor.
So I'm glad that they've slapped that price tag on it, because Celtic will just walk away from that anyway. Obviously, we prefer Idah to sign, but we can't go on waiting all summer long, John, before we make these signs. Celtic have got to be a wee bit more urgent in the transfer market.
Aye. It's just typical Celtic. When did the season end? The 25th of May, was it? We're nearly to the 25th of June. That's nearly a month has gone by, and there's nothing. Just rumours, that's all we're getting. Just rumours. And it's no good enough, is it? If Brendan Rodgers had his eye on some players, surely they would bend the door by now, Zander. That's the way I see it. It's just the penny pinching mentality. Again, of course, it's too early to maybe say that. Of course, I understand that. It's too early to maybe say the penny pinching biscuit tin mentality is might be too soon for me saying that. But I'm sure Brendan Rodgers has had his eye on a lot of players that could improve Celtic. So why are we not getting any news apart from rumours?
That's it, John. I know what sometimes happens is, clubs like to wait till the Euros or the World Cup's finished, and then they start doing their transfer business, John, because you get a truer valuation of the player after the Euros. So maybe that's what's happening. I'm not too sure. Celtic like to wait and bring in quality. We don't rush our signings like some clubs in the SPL, John. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're waiting on the Euros finishing, and we'll maybe start seeing some movement. But absolutely nothing so far. Another rumour, John. Parma apparently unhappy at Celtic. He's come out and rubbish the claims himself, the player, so that's fair enough. Parma, John, what kind of season you're looking for out of Parma next year?
If he continues the way he finished this season, the second half of this season, you're talking about a player that's going to be sitting in the stands under for me.
Yeah. Obviously, the pre-season's got to come up, John, and all these players will get their chance. So he's got to shine in the pre-season, I would say.
I mean, we don't know what's ahead. None of us know what lies ahead. But I'm only saying if he starts like he finished last season, and he's not going to be even on the bench. That's just the way I see it. I'm sure Celtic will make a few quality signings to come. It's no all doom and gloom. Brendan's obviously, he knows the players that he wants. It's just a case of Celtic willing to spend the money. I think that's always the case with Celtic, innit? Especially when it comes to Brendan. John McGinn situation springs to mind. For the sake of it, was it £200,000 extra? Celtic
Yeah,
lost John McGinn.
yeah,
But that's what we're looking at here. Are the board willing to give Brendan that money to bring in the players that Brendan wants? Because if he gets to bring in the players that he wants, I'm sure we'll have a very, very strong side, Zander. Look, we don't know. A lot of Brendan's signings have been flops, haven't they, to be honest with you? But were they really Brendan's signings? That's what you've got to ask yourself.
yeah. That's it, John. You've got to look at the players that came in. You know, hardly any of them got a game at all, really. I think though Adam Idah was the main success, wasn't it? Big Adam. He came in January, obviously. He was a success. But anyway, John, let's move on from that. I think, personally, I think he's got to have a good pre-season, Palmer, and then take it for there into next season. You know, look what he done when he first came in. You know, people were shouting about him being the new Jota, and then he just fell away after that penalty miss. We've spoken about it a few times. But we'll wait and see what happens in pre-season. Hopefully the boy can kick on and hit it with some form. Moving on, John. Luke McGowan, Dundee player, John. You heard of this boy, Luke McGowan?
I have heard of him, the one that sprang to mind was it John McGowan? John Paul McGowan? Was
Yeah.
it Paul McGowan? Paul McGowan, wasn't it?
Yeah, Paul McGowan, yeah. Luke McGowan, John, Dundee player, has been there for a few seasons. Right midfield, that's his position, John. 14 goals he scored last season from right midfield, so that's decent. I think it was last 2 seasons, 14 goals in 2 seasons, right midfield. And Celtic are interested in this boy. Obviously, that's the Matt O'Reilly position, isn't it, right midfield? Luke McGowan, John, he seems like a decent wee player, but I think it'd be just one of these projects.
Aye. I know the boy you're talking about. I'm just getting him mixed up with the other boy McGowan that played for them, Paul McGowan. I think he played
Yeah,
for Celtic as well, didn't he? Paul
yeah,
McGowan.
oh, yeah.
I don't remember much about the boy. I have seen him. I know who you're talking about. I just can't even put a face to him right now, but I know exactly who you're talking about. I've seen him playing for Dundee.
Yeah.
Again, project signing, really. It's not going to excite the Celtic fans, that one's under, is it?
It's not going to excite them, John, but, you know, we have had players coming from the Scottish League before and thriving at Celtic. So hopefully he's one of them. Young Luke McGowan, 14 goals in 2 seasons. No bad for a right midfielder at a provincial club, if you like. All right, John. Moving on. We're rattling through all these rumours, aren't we? We're rattling through them. It's not a problem. Rocco Vata, right, John? I know you think he's a decent wee winger. I think he's a decent wee winger as well. But he didn't sign a new contract, John. I thought he did, but he didn't. He's out of contract next week, John. That's when his contract runs out. Watford are in for him. A couple of other clubs are in for him as well. But the player himself wants to sign for Celtic, but there's obviously a stumbling block there with the contract. But what are you thinking of this situation, Rocco Vata, John? A week left in his contract. Watford are chatting on the door. Should we improve his offer on the contract situation?
Me personally, I think Celtic should get him signed up in a new contract, but I don't think there's a place for him. I don't think Brendan's. Ange certainly didn't see anything in him. Brendan obviously doesn't see anything in him, so I don't think there's a place for him at Celtic. I think they'll just let his contract lapse under. And it's a shame because he's a crack wee player. I think best crosser of a ball at Celtic.
Yeah, but it's a week to go, John. So he's going to be out of contract and a free agent within a week. So if Celtic want him, they need to be quick and snap him up on the contract. All right, John. Moving on. Other wee bit of signing news doesn't affect us really. Connor Barron did go to Rangers, free agent. John, that's the kind of players they're signing. Free agents, you know, that's their level. Connor Barron at Rangers, John. You thought he was a decent wee player, didn't you?
Aye, he is. Aye, he's got a right face for Rangers. That's all I'll say on him.
I thought he was decent. I thought he was decent, but no good enough. Certainly not good enough for Celtic. That's the way I looked at it.
Well, I don't know. I can't really comment. When I seen him playing for Aberdeen, he looked decent. He looked decent in Europe when he played in the European games. Pacey, quite strong wee player. I think that's a good free signing for them, Matt Zander.
Yeah, it could be, John. But that's the kind of players they're signing, John, isn't it? Free agents. So Celtic just need to try do their business a wee bit quicker and get these quality signings in the door. I'm sure it will happen, by the way, John. I'm sure it will happen. We always do it late, don't we? It's the Celtic way, isn't it? Do your business at the end of the transfer window where you don't need to pay as much in wages, etc. So, all right, John, that's about it. Before we move on to Scotland, Kieran Tierney got injured again, didn't he? So he's out of the Euros. He's out. Do you think that these injuries, these long-grown list of injuries that Kieran Tierney's had for Arsenal and Celtic for that matter, I think it would maybe lower the price a wee bit? I think Arsenal's put a 10 million price tag on him. Do you think these injuries will maybe lower that tag a wee bit, possibly?
No, I said to you a few weeks ago, it's a waste. He's a waste of time bringing him to Celtic, and it's a waste of time spending £10 million on a player that's constantly injured, unless your club can afford to throw away £10 million. As good a left back as Kieran is, he ain't worth £10 million with his medical record, basically his injury record. So I just think Celtic should stay well clear of him, to be honest with you, Zander.
Yeah, it's they need to. I know there's no guarantees, but you need to guarantee that he's past his injuries before he splash that kind of cash, especially for a club like Celtic. £10 million. They've never spent anything like that on a player before in their history. So, yeah, I think you're right, John. I think Celtic will walk away for that now, especially after this recent injury to Kieran. And good luck to Kieran with his injuries. Hopefully he gets over these injuries. And obviously he just wants to play football, the boy. He can't help it with these injuries. It seems to be like 3 injuries a season with the boy, doesn't it? So good luck to Kieran. Hopefully he gets over his bad patch of injuries.
Aye, of course. I don't want to say any harm on Kieran at all. It's just I don't think he's Celtic's not going to spend £10 million on any player really, let alone an injury-prone one. So I think it's I don't know. It's only rumours anyway with Kieran linked with Celtic, but they're not going to spend £10 million, and he's not worth £10 million anyway. Not in my eyes. No for a club like Celtic.
Yeah.
Maybe a cash-rich club would take a chance on him, but Celtic can't afford that, Zander, to take chances like that with an injury-prone player, I'm afraid.
All right. Hypothetically speaking, then, John, what if we got him for £5 million? If Arsenal were willing to accept £5 million, would you? I know we're just talking nonsense here, but would you take him at £5 million?
It's no case would I take him. It's would Celtic take him. That's what it all boils down to. Would Celtic pay £5 million for a injury-prone player? Again, it's a big risk, Zander. Quality player like he is. Well, I'm no disputing Kieran's quality. We all know he's a quality left back. Fantastic. Probably one of the best left backs we've had at Celtic in my time watching him. At £5 million with all the injuries, still a big risk for me.
Okay, John. All right. Right, okay, let's get into Scotland then. That wraps up your rumours and your gossip and your news regarding Celtic. Let's get into Scotland because obviously they played a few days ago, they played with the won each draw, didn't they? They got their point that they needed against Switzerland. That was the point that takes us into the game on Sunday, where a win puts us into the last 16, John. Never achieved before in Scotland's history. A win against Hungary, John, puts us into the last 16.
Well, doesn't it really? There's a lot of things got to go our way. For instance, Germany's got to beat Switzerland, and there's a significant goal difference as well, Zander, between Switzerland and Scotland. I can't remember exactly what it is. Germany obviously put 5 past Scotland, and Switzerland have got a better goal difference for. They've only got is it 2 goals against. Scotland's got 6 against. So there's quite a gulf to turn around there. You've got to hope Germany put a few past Switzerland, and Scotland put a couple past Hungary for them to
Yeah.
qualify.
Yeah, I was looking at that, John. I thought that as well, right? But that's not the case because the best 4 third place finishes also qualify, John. The best 4, and with the draw of the day with Georgia, if Scotland win tomorrow, then they're more or less guaranteed a place in the last 16, John. So they would get a best third place position, John. Without relying on Germany, etc., etc. All they have to do, I know it's no easy, but all they have to do is win their game against Hungary, John. So best third place position gets them into the last 16.
Right, I wasn't aware of that, and being honest, I haven't really been watching the Euros anyway. I watched the 2 Scotland games, and I watched Spain against Italy the other night, and I watched Georgia against Czech Republic the day. That's the only games I've watched. I've not really been paying that much attention to it, but I think if that's the case, then that's better news for Scotland, of course. And I really hope they qualify. It'd be good to see Scotland get into the last 16. Is it the last 16?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wasn't aware of it either, but all I heard was everybody saying we've got a great chance, and I was thinking the goal difference, it's not a great chance, we've got a very slim chance actually. And then I looked into it, and sure enough, the best four of the best third place finishes also qualify. And with that draw between Georgia and who was it they were playing the day, John? Georgia and Czech Republic, was it? That draw gives us a great chance, John, a great chance of qualifying if, and it's a big if, we go on and beat Hungary on Sunday, John. So that's good news, as you say, John. It's never been done before. It would be amazing if we get there in the last 16, sort of through the back door as well, I suppose, isn't it? But anyway, any which way possible, I suppose.
Aye, that's it. That was a good game the day, that actually, Georgia against Czech Republic. Really good game. Georgia could have won it, and I mean literally the last kick of the ball, just to keep it to beat, and puts it out of the bar. And that scuppered Georgia's chances of their first victory. But it was a really good game to watch. Czech Republic looked a half decent team, but I enjoyed that. I felt sorry for Georgia with that sitter at the end. Last kick, that was it after that whistle blew. And I believe he was obviously distraught with missing such an easy chance. I mean, if that was you would expect it. But
sorry, I'm laughing, John, but I just love your comments on all right, John. Aye, good luck to Scotland, as you say. That would be great if we qualified. You know what an achievement that would be for Steve Clarke, getting Scotland into the last 16, first time ever in Scotland's history. So that's going to be an interesting game on Sunday, John. I'm not aware of the kick-off time or anything like that, John. I've not been keeping my eye on that, but one game, 90 minutes away for qualifying for the first time ever. That's some job Steve Clarke's doing at Scotland.
Aye, Scotland hasn't been performing at all. To get there, to qualify for it, I thought Scotland were brilliant in the qualifiers. Played really well. Played most teams they played off the park, apart from Spain, of course. But I think Steve Clarke's done a really good job with Scotland. But they haven't been on form the past year or whatever. But look, it's Hungary, isn't it? I think Scotland are more than capable of beating Hungary. I think they've got a good chance of qualifying. If you say 3 teams can qualify, I think they've got a good chance because Hungary, half decent team. Switzerland beat them convincingly 3-1, but Hungary missed a lot of good chances, So you've got to be aware of them. They'll be a half decent team as well. But realistically, I think Scotland can beat them, Zander.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, John. I'm not a great Scotland person, as you know. I'm not a Scotland follower. That's what I mean by that. I don't follow Scotland, but this is quite exciting if we can get this win over the line to qualify for the knockout stage. What an achievement that would be. So I'm looking forward to that on Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. All right, John. Good luck to Scotland. That's all I can say. But it's not going to be easy. It's Hungary, as you say, John. They had their chances in the 2 games they've played. They're a decent team. We can't go in there expecting to win. We've got to play the game and know the occasion and just go out there and do a professional job.
Aye, every player's got to play to their capabilities, including John McGinn, who I think's been pretty poor, to be honest with you, in the Euros. But aye, they've got every chance to qualify. But they need to, other big performers have got to show up, including Callum McGregor. Andy Robertson, I think he's a cracking player, Andy Robertson. I really like him. Cracking left back. Kieran Tierney out injured, of course, so it's not going to make things any easier with one of our top players out injured, is it?
No, that's it, John. Who is it going to be in centre half then? It's going to be Grant Hanley or something in there, isn't it, instead of Kieran Tierney? I don't know. I don't know who the centre half pairing is going to be. I'm not too sure. But watch this space anyway. I'm looking forward to it. It's football that we can talk about in the close season, John. That's the way I look at it. Obviously, Celtic's pre-season friendlies, they're coming up in a few weeks, John, 3 weeks before we kick off in our friendlies, so I'm looking forward to that as well. All right, John, let's park that up there. Good luck to Scotland, as I say. I'm sure we can do it. I'm positive we can do it. Give me a wee score prediction, John, while we're talking about it. Scotland against Hungary.
Oh, it's a hard one. It's just not as easy as trying to predict Celtic scores, that, Zander.
Yeah.
Just the way Scotland's been performing, they've not been consistent in the way they play or anything. But I was going to say one each. I think it's quite realistic. But, if Scotland show up, I think they can beat them. I'm going to say 2-1 Scotland.
2-1 Scotland, John. Yeah, nervy. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. I'm thinking the same, to be honest with you. And I think it's going to be 1-0 Scotland, John. I think it's going to be very, very nervy. Could be totally wrong, could be a 4-0, but I kind of see that being the case. I'm going to go 1-0 and a very nervy day in Germany for Scotland, John.
It's going to be nervy, no doubt about that. Tartan will be right behind them, right enough. It'll be a good atmosphere. Tartan Army. And the Switzerland fans the other night, best atmosphere I've heard at the Euros. I've only seen 4 games, mind you, but that was the best atmosphere I've heard. So the Tartan Army are going to be right behind the boys and Steve Clark. Let's just hope they can get it over the line. It'd be a big occasion if Scotland can do that, Zander.
Yeah, massive achievement, massive, John. All right, John. Okay, moving on. We're looking at comments, John. You've got a few to throw at us, some comments.
I can hit you with a few of them if you want.
Yeah, go for it.
Mad about football. Usual Scotland, still no signings. Typical Celtic. That's 3 points in the one comment there. Usual Scotland. Otherwise, they get beat after Germany. Still no signings. We haven't signed anybody. And typical Celtic.
That's over a week ago, that comment, wasn't it? That was last week's podcast. And it's still the same this week. Moves it mad about football. Put in the same comment. Just put in the exact same comment. Hopefully, no, the typical Scotland. Hopefully that changes on Sunday, John. But yeah, same comment as regards to signings, isn't it? Absolutely nothing. 3 weeks into the transfer window, 2-3 weeks into it. I've not seen a body over the line yet.
Nothing to speak of, but that's just typical. Celtic is mad about football, says. Roseanne says, are you sure it's Celtic fans that don't like Scales? I think he's brilliant. Well, couldn't agree more, Roseanne. He's an outstanding defender for me. I'm glad he signed his new contract. We've got him there for a few years. Liam Scales. I don't know why Celtic fans don't like him. No, all Celtic fans. A lot of Celtic fans love him, like myself and you. But I think he's brilliant as well.
I think a few of the doubters as regards to Scale, John, their minds were changed as the season went on. I think that's what the case is there. I think 90% of the Celtic fans love him now, John. And why not? Because he's an outstanding defender. So happy to have him on our books at Celtic, John. Absolutely. I mean, he's on a long-term contract as well. 5 years we've got Scales for. So, as you said last week, John, he's still a young man. He's got a lot to learn still. But what a central defender he is. I don't know if he's as equal as Carter Vickers, but he's not far away, John, is he? Big Scales.
I think Carter Vickers edges it for me, but it doesn't matter if Carter Vickers edges it over Scales. He's still a good player. and the two of them work really well together. So I'm happy with Liam Scales. I've says that all through the season. I've never dwindled for that. If he has a bad game, I'll say he had a bad game. But generally speaking, overall, I'm happy with Liam Scales. Zander, I like him.
Yeah, it's Scales. I mean, but Scales and Carter Vickers together as a partnership, 100%. That's why we're the champions and cup winners, John. That's why we're the double champions, because of the two boys and the rest of the boys, obviously. But they two are a solid rock at the back for us. So I want to see that partnership continue.
Aye, me as well, Zander. Thanks for that, Roseanne. Next up was Craig Young. He says the song Uncle Albert sings is called Hey There, You With a Star in Your Eyes by Rosemary Clooney. But Albert sings Idah, You With the Stars in Your Eyes.
All right. Good knowledge there, Craig. Good knowledge. I didn't know that. Obviously, we just heard Uncle Albert singing about Idah. And as I said last week, hopefully we'll be singing about Idah as well. But John, it's going to drag on through the summer, I'm afraid.
Aye, well, Uncle Albert, by the way, sang a few songs in the pub, and that was one of them. So thanks for that, Craig. I didn't know that. And he also says you would be hard pushed to get a football song going with that one, lads.
I'm sure the Celtic fans in the Green Brigade will work something up. They'll work some sort of magic up with that one. But Uncle Albert version was good as well. Aye, Uncle Albert, how funny was he? Legend. Yeah. All right, John. Who else have we got in the comments?
Aye, Uncle Albert was a legend. Aye.
Yeah.
On my way to post my entry form for the Krypton Factor.
It was the funniest in it, I think. Only Fools and Horses. Anyway, we diverse, John. Comments, John. Who else is on there?
Thanks for that, by the way, Craig. Next up was Michael Keogh, who laughed at me. I think I'm saying his name right. It must be Keogh or something like that. Michael Keogh. I don't know. Keogh. He's Irish, so I'd imagine it's Keogh. It just looks like Keogh to me, so I'm going to keep saying Keogh because I don't think Michael likes it.
Just to say.
Michael starts his comments with the same line: "A Galtee mountain boy."
Yeah.
I always have a good laugh, John, when you say my name. I don't care what you call me as long as it's not too early in the morning. Great chat as always, John and Zander, and good. What's that? I think it means good luck to Scotland next time out. God bless, lads. I think his name's Keogh. Tell me if I'm right, Michael. Is it Michael Keogh? Is it Michael Keogh?
Aye. Scotland, yeah, another good well-wisher for Scotland's that draw in midweek against Switzerland. That was nervy as well, wasn't it? I didn't watch it, I only listened to bits of it. By all accounts, Ralston gives the ball away, John, and you should have heard the commentators on Radio Scotland. Witch hunt for Ralston within seconds of giving that ball away. Honest to God, I know it was a poor pass by all accounts because I've never seen it, but the witch hunt after it, John, selling the jerseys, that was one phrase within 10 seconds of that goal being scored, John, selling the jerseys, and we're now sitting there with a chance to qualify for the last 16. That was the main commentator on the Radio Scotland, John.
Aye, I've watched the game on RTE, the Irish channel, and I don't think they were much better at complimenting Anthony Ralston. Players make mistakes.
Yeah.
Can't blame that. Scotland's got to try and push on after that. They didn't. So look, 1-1 was a fair result for that game, if you ask me. Anyway, there was nothing in it between the two teams. Mm-hmm. So fair result. Anthony Ralston makes a mistake. All players make mistake. He'll pick his head up and he'll go on with Zander. Yeah,
John, but that's fair enough. Every player makes a mistake, and players make mistakes that lead to goals. But it wasn't an end result for Scotland. We've still got a great chance of qualifying. But it was the witch hunt after it, John, for what I heard on Radio Scotland. It wasn't Liam McLeod, it was the other main commentator. I can't remember the guy's name. Ralston sells the jerseys. That's what a terrible comment because a player makes a mistake. We still came out the game with a draw, respectable draw against a top quality Switzerland team. And Ralston had a decent game after that, to be fair as well, John. So anyway, any more comments, mate?
I played all right, Ralston, apart from that. Paul McComb says, Scales, Celtic, 100%. Edouard, no. Tierney, yes. Idah, go for it. And he says he met Lubo. and Grace's a great lad. Bertie Auld and Tommy Burns, fantastic, great pod, lads. Well done. I think that's the players that he met was Lubo, Bertie Auld, and Tommy Burns.
Yeah, I'd be shouting about that as well, John. If I met the three guys, Lubo Moravchik, total legend. Tommy Burns, another total legend. And who's the other one again?
Bertie Auld.
Bertie Auld. I mean, come on. What a great three players to actually meet and speak to, John. I'd love that myself, to have that in my CV of Celtic players that I've spoken to. Bertie Auld, wee legend. Lubo, magician. Tommy Burns, just a great man. Yeah, well done, Paul. That's something to brag about.
Aye, good. That's a good bunch of players, that. So, aye, well done, Paul.
Yeah, well done, Paul. And thanks for sharing that, Paul. Thanks for that, buddy.
Aye, cheers. Next up was Paul McEwen, says, morning, hail the Celtic. His emoticons as usual. Thanks for that, Paul.
Yeah, good evening, Paul. Hope you're well, Paul.
Andy Boy thinks crimping was mince. Who's crimping was mince?
I seen that one, John. Frimpong. Who was it again? Who was the guy's name that put the comment in?
It was Andy Boy, but he didn't call him Frimpong. He called him crimping. Crimping was mince.
Crimping, yeah. I think he's been very harsh on Frimpong. He was decent for us when we had a terrible team during the COVID season. The wee boy, he was just a wee boy at the time. He was only 18 or 19. Now he's flourished into that, a 40, 50 million pound player, John. So I think he's been very harsh on Frimpong there. He's not a Celtic player, but I just think he's been harsh.
I didn't really rate him that much, to be honest with you, Zander. I didn't think he was great, but I don't think he was mince, if you know what I mean. You could see he had bags of pace, bags of ability. But I think once the big, brutal Scottish defenders get a hold of that, they were putting him at the park. I think that kind of threw him a wee bit. He didn't like the rough treatment. I don't think he was mince. That is very harsh, Andy Boy. But I think I agree with you to a certain extent that he wasn't the best for Celtic, to be honest with you, but he did have flashes of brilliance. You could see he was a top quality player, Zander.
Yeah, that's it, John. You could see he's a top quality player. You can't call a 40 million player mince. You don't sell for 40, 50 million if you're mince. Even at an early age, that's the way I look at it, John. As you say, he wasn't the best for Celtic. He wasn't the worst either. He had bags of ability, as you say. Talented young footballer, and we raked in a massive profit off him, and we're going to get an added bonus selling fee for him as well, John. So yeah, hopefully Leverkusen sell him this summer and we get the extra 10, 12 million into the bank account there, John, at Celtic. That's never going to be used.
Aye. I don't know what that'll get used for, that 10 million. Just it'll line somebody's pockets anyway.
Yeah.
Let's move on, Zander. Got a few more comments to get through here. James Doran says all the Sevconians will be glued to the TV tonight, watching their beloved England and waving their Union Jacks, while Celtic will be flying the flag for Scotland.
Aye, well, England, they're so poor, but they're still sitting top of the league with 4 points, aren't they? So, all right, John, I don't want to talk about England. Move on, John. Next comment.
Aye, I know Rangers fans copy the English fans, didn't they? All that Dare to Dream and all that, banners and all that. That's their pattern, isn't it? Exact same as England. They use their pattern anyway. We don't want to talk England.
Where does it get them at the end of the day? Serial losers. Next comment.
Both serial losers, England and Sevco. Just You Calm Down, son, says reports are also saying we have bid 7.6 million for Croatian number 1 Livakovic. Not sure I believe it. He only joined Fenerbahce last year, but then again, they haven't secured Champions League football. Yeah,
that's the one we spoke about in the rumours, John. Livakovic, that was the rumour. But it's a strong rumour now, John. So Just You Calm Down was bang on with that. He's £7 million, John. It's 6'2". The tallest for a goalkeeper, 6'2". But he's strongly linked, John. That was in the Daily Rangers. So there must be an element in it. So we'll watch our space. That's all we can say. But good comment there. Good comment for the boy.
Aye, I think he likes to be called Just You Calm Down, son. Anyway, thanks for that, mate. Next up was Roseanne again. She says, I'm sure Uncle Albert sung I'm in the mood for love simply because you're near me. But I might be wrong. No, he did sing that, Roseanne. He definitely did sing that, but he also sang that other song. Like I says earlier, it was in don't know why we're talking about Only Fools and Horses, but Uncle Albert in the pub sang quite a few songs when he was sitting at the piano, if I remember correct, Zander.
Yeah, it's a close season, John. We can talk about it whenever we want. If we need to find something to talk about. That is Uncle Albert. He's a wee genius, wee songs and on the piano and that. Absolutely top notch. And just you calm down, son, as well. Was the prize winner for last week? Just let us know, pal, if you got your prize, because we wanted to know if any of these prizes are lost in the post or anything like that, didn't we, John?
Of course, let us know if you got your prize. Just you calm down, son. They left a wee comment saying that was a nice surprise. I don't think I've won anything like this before. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a nice comment. And I hope he got his prize, because, John, it's just delivered by Royal Mail, so anything can happen. So just let us know a wee quick, yes, I got it, just to let us know that everything's okay, pal. All right, John, we'll do a podcast next week unless there's breaking news in midweek. We'll keep you up to date with anything that's happening. Yeah, okay, John, let's move on. Let's end it here. Just a big thank you to everybody that subscribed recently, because I've had a lot of extra subscribers there. So thank you to everybody that subscribed. And thank you in advance if you're going to hit the subscribe button, because we do appreciate every subscription. And then there's our long-term subscribers as well. Thank you very much to everybody that subscribes to our wee Celtic Forever channel. All right, John, thanks for that. Catch you next weekend, buddy.
See you later, Zander. Hail, mate.
Hail, buddy. Catch you later.